Miko's doing great on everything. With most dogs, retrieving will be the sticking point for the dog to go back. I can train any dog to retrieve if I have enough time. You know, on average, it's going to take 3 weeks, a month, something like that. So she's doing great. Yeah, Shiba can retrieve. You know, it's a dog, not a cat. Now, there have been some changes. We're making some changes now. And the changes are that she no longer holds this, right? This is what I used first. It's just a rod like this. And the reason why I use this is because it's nice and light. Now we go to this, which is heavier. So it's harder for the dog to hold. And you'll start getting resistance when you make things different. Now, I make these so that the dog's snout will fit right in here because you want the dog to hold it here. You want to teach the dog to hold objects in the middle, not like this. So dumbbells are good. And the other reason why dumbbells are good is that when we start getting the dog to pick it up off the floor, it's raised, so it's easier for the dog to pick up. You got to build on success. If this was on the ground, you're going to have a hard time getting a dog that won't, you know, that doesn't know how to pick it up to pick it up. In other words, if I throw this on the ground and I tell Ike to pick this up, he'll pick it up. Any of my other dogs or any dogs that have been through the whole training process will pick this up. I mean, Miko should pick up car keys before she leaves. So that's very difficult, but this will be easier for her to pick up. But it's one of those things when you start doing the dumbbell, this is heavier, it smells different now. It causes a problem, so you'll get resistance, but just be patient and do the same thing that you did teaching the dog to do this. Hey, puppy, hang on. I'll take you out in a minute. What? Hang on. Hang on, I got to deal with the puppy. I had to take the puppy out. This is a puppy, too. This is a 9-10-month-old Shiba. She's doing great. So you need to do this the same way. You need to get the dog used to this the same way by just putting it in the dog's mouth. If they spit it out, put it back in their mouth. When they spit it out, say no. Put it back in their mouth. There's a little divot under their chin. Put some light pressure there, right? Pet their ears like this, and it'll help the dog as a distraction and as positive reinforcement. So it's the same principle. Just roll it into the dog's mouth, put a little light pressure underneath, right? And then pet the ears. Now see, she's dropping it, right? But it's okay. If she drops it, we'll just, no. Say no, put it back in the dog's mouth. Make sure that the dog knows this is the behavior that you want, right? Hold, 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 hold. Now keep petting her ears as long as she's holding it. Hold, hold, hold. Good, hold. Very nice. Good, Miko. Good, hold, hold, hold. Drop. Very nice. You see how that works? It's very simple. Don't give the dog an option. Don't. There's no reason to. Just start telling the dog what you want it to do. That's the whole thing, is that you have to explain to the dog what's expected of it. What you want it to do, what you don't want it to do. If you let the dog make decisions, they make improper ones. This is going to be something that this dog and the owner can use for the rest of the lifetime of the dog. Remember, training is the lifetime of the dog. If you only have 1 or 2 minutes a day after the dog comes back from a board and train to train the dog, do it. I recommend that instead of walking the dog for 20 minutes, train the dog for 5. Exercise the dog's mind. And you're conditioning all these commands in that the dog learned during a board and train. She's great. Shibas are awesome. One of the things that I think has labeled them as hard to train is that they're not as animated as other dogs, so they're harder to read. I mean, it's sometimes, you know, they're just not as animated. Like, they just sort of look around, you know? Like, I think that that's where they got the reputation of being like a cat. They're clean like a cat, you know, generally speaking. Once you get the dog housebroken and you're using proper proper training methods, using the crate and taking the dog out on a scheduled basis, you have them on the correct food, they're very clean like a cat, but it's a dog. It's nothing like a cat, really, other than it'll stare like that, they'll sort of look like that, and they're very clean. They're very clean. Watch this one more time. Puppy, no. Hold. Hold. See, she's getting used to it. It's heavier. It's a lot heavier. Now, we'll be scenting the tennis balls for the dog Charlie, because Charlie's going to be a gun dog. This dog is not going to be a hunting dog, but Charlie is. So we'll scent the tennis balls with bird scent. Good. Drop. Good girl. That's awesome, dude. Miko. Hold. Roll it in the dog's mouth. Hold. Hold. Just pick it up on this dumbbell thing real quick. By this time next week, drop. By this time next week, what we want to do is have her to the point where I can have it out in front of her and she'll go for it. That's the next step. So we have to do more of her holding it just in her mouth and get her to know that this is the desired behavior, holding it, and then we have to teach her to go for the object. And once we have her going for the object, then the next sticking point will be when the object's on the ground. She won't want to pick it up. They never do. Because they learn to take it from your hand, but then they're going to have to pick it up off the ground. So it's a series of steps to get your dog to retrieve. She doesn't need to do a 1,500-yard retrieve. She just needs to be able to do short retrieves. All dogs love it. Keep your dog working its entire life. You have a healthy, happy dog. We were outside the other day and somebody said, "Is that a fox?" I said, "No, it's a Shiba."